Hi folks, and welcome to August's Aches and Games Monthly, a regular check-in between two slightly older British fans talking life, gaming, basically whatever other nonsense comes to mind. We've got a packed show for you this month, sharing what we've been doing, watching and playing, including a Rematch FC25 footy face-off, which is our latest game for our still not quite catching on #SubClub. Plus, we'll cover the main news of the moment, although there's not very much, and highlight any upcoming releases of note. Spoiler, not many of them either. But remember, if you want to jump straight to any sections of the show, we will have timestamps in the description. Please feel free to hop about a bit. Outside of these episodes, you'll find us on most socials and on our Facebook page by searching Aches and Games. I'm Giles Nicholson, at Giles Went West on various things, and joining me, as always, is my good friend James Hopes. Hey James, how's it going?
Good evening, Giles. Great, thank you for asking. It's weird that you said it's going to be a packed show and then went on to say that there's nothing for that section, nothing for that section. It's pretty much an empty show. It's going to be like 5 minutes tops. Yeah. So there we go. There'll be a lot of waffle in this show, so if you enjoy waffle, middle-aged men with beards talking rubbish, and you'll have a great time. But yeah, skip ahead, like Giles said, 20 bits you prefer to go to, but would rather you listen to the whole thing because there's bound to be some nuggets of comedy gold in there somewhere, as there always are. And yeah, we're still just adjacent to going global, so please do catch us while we're still free. That's it. I'm James, went to school with Giles. On PlayStation, I'm James Boy 1978, and on Xbox, I'm James Boy 78 9532, potentially. Never going to remember those four numbers, but there we go. And we do the Facebook page and TikTok and the website and all cool stuff of that ilk. Thank you for having me, Giles.
Yeah, well, it could be packed just for a very short period of time, possibly. Maybe we'll have a tight 45-minute run time. But regular listeners will know we've threatened that many times and then waffled on a bit. So let's see how we go. Good stuff. Well, James, last month you were boldly telling the listeners in our sign-off that you had big plans for having an exciting month to be able to regale them with this month. What have you been up to? Did it live up to the hype?
It's been a more exciting month, but compared to a normal person, it's still not very exciting, unfortunately. But still, by comparison, it's great. Great month. Packed. Good. Just as packed as this show is going to be, obviously. I'm going to mention some football first because our new chairman, Rob, invited us all for a behind-the-scenes tour of the training facility, which is called Bearwood. For Reading Football Club fans, you'll know that's out Wokingham way. And no one's ever been invited there before. It's been there for about 3 or 4 years, and it's lovely. So both me and Maddie went on a tour, but on separate times, unfortunately, because we couldn't link up timings, and went around there for about a couple of hours. They showed us all the facilities, all the behind-the-scenes stuff, met some players, had some photos, saw some nice countryside and some nice buildings and lots of football pitches. That was really good. So if you're into football, that was great. Bit different. And also they've announced that they're doing the Purple Turtle thing again this year. So for the last 2 seasons, we had a pre-season Purple Turtle extravaganza. And for those who aren't from Reading, you should know anyway, but if you don't know, the Purple Turtle is a world-famous bar in Reading Town Centre, which has a logo of a turtle, which is largely purple with green parts. And one of our Reading Football Club shirts was based on that logo last year. And every year they have this event with someone special performing. So the year before last, it was a band called the Amazons, who are reasonably famous now, I think. They do festivals and stuff.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, pretty good.
And last year, another Reading band called Only the Poets, who are less famous and will start doing festivals and stuff, I'm sure, if they haven't already. So this year, there's going to be another exciting live act, but we don't know who it's going to be yet. We don't know who is left from Reading that hasn't performed at the Purple Turtle over the last 2 years. So we're hoping for a Ricky Gervais, Kenneth Branagh, Kate Winslet triple act of some description, doing some comedy and some light acting skills. But we shall see. We shall find out on Thursday night. Me and Maddie are heading to that one, as we always do. So that'll be a good laugh. So that's the football-related stuff. We also did lots of end-of-term related stuff because my son Joshua has now finished primary school forever, moving on to secondary school in September. So, yeah, kind of last week was filled up with lots of sad stuff. So we went in for his leavers assembly, where the goal was for an hour and a half of the kids trying to make everyone sad and reminisce and cry about where the last 7 years have gone and how old we all are. So that was quite a bit of a tearjerker. I did some songs and some performances and recapped their old memories of stuff. And then on the last day of term, we had a leavers party in the evening where we all went down to the place that me and Sarah had our 30th birthday party, and I had my 40th birthday party. Not long ago, obviously, because we're still very young, but it feels like a little while now. And Giles was there. We had a great time on both parties, all 3 of them, in fact. So we went down there. There's a bouncy castle and a little obstacle course and some drinks and stuff, and everyone finished it off by doing a Macarena. So that was a A wonderful way to finish Joshua's primary school career.
Very similar to your 40th, from what I remember. It was the bouncy castle and the Macarena.
Just the Macarena, yeah. A whole night of Macarena.
Yeah, we used to love that stuff back then.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, starting with some football was very on brand because, as we mentioned in the intro, we've got the Rematch and FC25 face-off, and obviously we've also had the Women's Euros this month, which I'm sure you will have been watching. So we'll get to that, I'm sure. Anything else you've been up to? Or that already sounds packed to me, James. That sounds like a fun month.
Better than last month, isn't it? At least. We also saw Joshua's last ever street dance show from his primary school. That was good fun. He did a good performance. He even did a little cartwheel on stage, which was very exciting to watch. Just yesterday, we went to Dinton Pastures, which I've not been to for a little while, with Joshua and one of his little school friends called Susie, who lives out in the sticks now. We went to Dinton, and still really nice, but they've taken away quite a lot of the play apparatus. It's either been boarded up or cordoned off or removed completely. So I think when you build play equipment out of wood to make it environmentally friendly, it generally falls apart after about 10 years. So I'm guessing 10 years now, everything's collapsing. But it's good, still fun. Still have a good time. We'll probably go back there later on to do some snowboarding. There's not snowboarding there, is it? Blimey. Maybe some paddle boarding, maybe some pedalo action, maybe some climbing some walls and all that kind of jazz. So that'll be fun as well. And just to end the boringness, we moved back into our bedroom after all this time. So now our main bedroom now has not just a balcony, but it now also has the ensuite and a walk-in wardrobe. So it's quite an extravaganza of a bedroom space. But since we moved back in, Sarah's not slept at all well, so now she's blending the bed and the general vibes of the room. So no doubt we're moving again anytime soon. That was it, apart from our night out, which I'm sure you'll want to talk about, James.
Yeah, I'll mention. I'm just thinking about Dinton. They have a really good mini golf course, don't they? Crazy golf course. Did you crazy golf? Did you golf in a crazy manner?
No, weren't feeling crazy enough that day because we were desperately trying to get back for the Euro final. I missed the first half of it. I need sort of second half, as it was. So no time for crazy golf. But we did walk around the whole lake, and we did have a lot of time in the playground area. We had an ice cream as well, so all good. Can't complain. And Joshua and Susie did a lot of time fishing. They found a big stick and kept dipping in the water with blackberries attached to it and trying to catch some blackberry-loving fish. Yeah. Which obviously they didn't catch any fish, unfortunately.
Funny you mention that. Our neighbour, who we have a mixed relationship with, is, and if you're listening, hi Kevin, they occasionally put strange fruit out, seemingly to feed the local foxes, which I think foxes are equally probably fond of kiwi and grapes as fish would be fond of blackberries. So maybe it's a thing. Maybe we've been living a lie all this time and animals actually really like various fruits, but I think probably not.
I wonder if the fruit he put out was strange or whether he put out in a strange fashion, or it's just conceptually strange.
Yeah, all of the above, I would say. Wow. If there's a strange way to put out strange fruit in a strange manner, the strange man would have done it. But moving on, especially if we're about to lose one of our listeners, in which case,
10% of our listenership gone.
I'll pull it back. You're right. We had a lovely time out, didn't we? Although we ate too much pizza. We've had a bit of a run of going out with a group of us trawling the all-you-can-eat establishments of Reading, and I think all-you-can-eat always feels like a bit of a challenge, but all you should eat is probably a different amount. So maybe next time I'm thinking we could go somewhere that just isn't all you can eat, just to try and hope that our wallets can regulate us where our eyes and our stomachs don't. Were you feeling fresh the next day, James?
Yeah, it should be all you enjoy eating. When you stop enjoying it, you should stop. There should probably an advert about that somewhere, isn't there?
There should be.
But yeah, we had a lovely time. We had some bants, didn't we, and some conversations about boys stuff and all that kind of stuff. And an excess of pizza. So like Joel said, it was all you can eat, but there were massive slices, weren't there, was the issue. So I only had 5 slices of pizza, but the pizzas were like head size or body size, depending on how big your head and body are. They were big pizza slices, and 5 was too many pizza slices. 4 would have been slightly too many, 5 was exceptionally too many. When you try to stand up afterwards, you could feel like, everything was kind of growing inside you as if we were about to give birth to a massive pizza baby.
Nice. And these are the sort of, I don't know if they're New York style, but they're kind of, I think quite common, quite popular in sort of the trendier bits of New York. They're kind of almost like fried bottoms as well. So they're really heavy, aren't they? Just the sort of sense of it. Even if they weren't that big, I think they'd probably fill you up. And the fact that they're so ginormous, and we had too many of them. Not a good thing, but one day we'll learn, but it hasn't come yet, and you would have thought we should know by now.
It's still good fun, though.
It was really good fun, and I've had a fun month. So you mentioned football, which, again, we'll come back to. The other thing for me has been music. So I had some musical trips last month, as regular listeners will know. I think based on the timing of the episodes, it's already straddled 2 episodes. This was our sort of blow-off of our slightly eclectic foursome. So to recap, we started with Kylie and then McFly, and this month we went to see Stereophonics in Cardiff and then Oasis in Wembley. So time of recording, Oasis was just a few days ago, and it really was that good. I mean, I was a Blur fan back in the day, really a pop fan probably more than either of them. But when I went to uni, my 3 housemates were all big Oasis fans, and I realised that I particularly liked a lot of the B-sides and quieter stuff that they do. And so, yeah, managed to get tickets to Wembley, and it was fantastic. So big old sing-along, so much energy, most of it good in the stadium, although there were a few idiots around, not as many as we expected, so that was nice. And yeah, just really felt like a proper moment. I don't know what it was like being at Nebworth back in the day, but I never saw them, and I'm really glad I did. How do you feel about Oasis, James? I can't remember. You're more of a dance person.
How do I feel about them? I saw them once.
Ah.
Yeah. No, with Alex at Wembley.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember why. Some kind of anniversary or some occasion, or maybe I was born. I can't remember. But yeah, we went there with me and Sarah and Alex and Helen many years ago. Drank pints out of plastic glasses and heard Oasis. I'm sure it was Oasis.
Are you sure this was you, James? This sounds very unlike you. It sounds very unlike you. Pints out of glasses and Oasis just doesn't sound John Brand.
I'm sure it was Oasis. When did they give up?
It was, I think they said it was 16 years since they last played London. So 16 years ago. 2019? No, 2009. I'm aged just again.
Yeah, so 2009, I saw Oasis at Wembley.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
fantastic.
So, yeah, I'll look out for the photos later. Annoyingly these days, in the olden days, you used to print out photos and you used to have them in an album. Someone used to dig them out and go, oh, that's some photos. I'll have a look through them, that's fun. But now they're all on the phone somewhere. And then when you change phones, some of them stay and transfer over, some of them don't. Some of them are on a cloud somewhere, some of them are on Amazon Photos somewhere, and some have no idea. So it's possible that I took lots of photos from that event and I've no idea where they are. Which doesn't really help when I'm losing my memory and mind, and photos would really help me. But they don't, because I can't remember where they are.
That sounds very much like the sort of thing you'll spend 3 weeks doing when you're retired, which is going through carefully, like sort of coordinating all these sets of digital photos and cataloguing them very specifically. But yeah, you'll have even less chance of remembering where these things were by then.
Yeah. Well, the other day, one of my friends from work posted a photo of their graduation photo on Instagram.
Nice.
Because it was a number of years since they graduated. A lot fewer years since I graduated, or we graduated collectively. So it made me think, I really should dig out my graduation photos from the 2 times I've graduated. And I realised that most people didn't realise, even my closest friends didn't realise that I'd graduated twice, because I got a master's many years down the line, so that was great. And I also worked out that I had lots of photos, but I had also no idea where they were. So I tasked my mum with trying to find some photographic evidence of the graduation to prove that I actually did get a master's, because there was no other proof of it, because I've lost all the certificates and everything else. I certainly don't remember anything at all about what I studied. And she found some. So my mum was a reliable source. She went through boxes and boxes of hard media and managed to find 3 photos that evidence the fact I was in Portsmouth on the day, meeting Sheila Hancock and being presented with a certificate to say that I'd learned some stuff about criminals. Hurrah!
Nice. Excellent. Well, yeah. I, I really thought I had a segue, but not fun-loving criminals, sadly. But back to Stereophonics in Cardiff. We'll just edit that out as
Yeah,
always.
nice.
I try and make myself sound good on these
Very
episodes.
smooth.
And if you're listening back and you think that's the good version, you should hear the rough version. But yeah, before Oasis, Stereophonics, and that was also really good. I've been a fan since Where It Gets Around, and they had been a weird little black spot in my sort of gig going. I don't know why. I don't think I'd ever seen them live, despite really liking them and probably intending to go a number of times. So that was also very good. It was very hot, unfortunately, and I should have shouted out the Richard Ashcroft supported Oasis and casted as well, but unfortunately we didn't get there in time. But Blossoms supported Stereophonics, so I've seen a load of bands that I have really enjoyed all of. Richard Ashcroft was mostly doing verse stuff, which was good, some of his own, which was fine, and Blossoms were really good, although it was incredibly hot in Cardiff for that time. So really fun, and we're done now for a while with bands, but we didn't intend to have 4 in quite quick succession. Oasis we thought we'd missed, and then we managed to get some late on. So time for a bit of a break. Do you want some fashion updates, James? I know you were.
I was going to say first, I was very impressed with your coolness, and I was going to say, "Did you have a nice day?" But then I couldn't remember who actually sung that song, so I don't know if that was relevant or not.
Yeah, no, it's spot on. That's good, and I'm impressed
Which
as
one
well.
was it? Was it Stereophonics?
Stereophonics, yeah.
Hey,
because I did worry that we might go down what feels very cliched Oasis song titles. So you managed to pivot away into the Stereophonics, which is very good, because nearly everyone else I've spoken to has somehow managed to squeeze in an Oasis title in there somewhere.
But yes, fashion.
Quick fashion update. So again, regular listeners will know that when I went to see Kylie, we started talking about outfits, and for the purposes of equality, James then quite rightly called me up on it when I was describing McFly, and I had no idea what they were wearing, so fumbled my way through a vague description of vests and shirts and trousers, probably. This time I really paid attention, but guess what Liam was wearing? Because it was just classic Liam.
Yeah, some kind of parka or some kind of neck or cagoule or...
Yeah, one of those things, and a hat the whole time. So Liam was Liam. Noel was wearing a quite a dadsy sort of shirt. I think it was probably. I'm colourblind, listeners, as you can probably tell. Actually, if you're a viewer, I've got no idea what colour I'm wearing at the moment. And so his was a kind of a reddish, sort of maybe even peachish, pinkish shirt, which was very fetching. And Noel looked like he was an old man trying really hard to listen to something someone was saying when he was playing his guitar, which just kept striking me that he looked much, much older than Liam, but that might be because you could only see about 3 square inches of Liam's face. It was parka or mac up to sort of his chin and hat down to his eyebrows, so his rather famous eyebrows. So that was Oasis, and Stereophonics were pretty much all in black. Kelly, who lead singer, is something like 5'4" or something. Sorry, Kelly, you are very, very short, and looked all 5'4" of him away on a tiny stage. You could barely see him. But he was in black jeans, black t-shirt, and for the first 2 or 3 songs, a black leather jacket, which I had to highlight because it was about 30 degrees in that stadium. It felt like more because there was no air, and he quite sensibly whipped that off and never put it back on after a while. So yes, great music, fairly predictable fashion, and I'm done for my gigs for a while. I'm afraid I did lots of other stuff, James, so I'm going to have to rattle through that, but you look like you had a...
No, I was going to say, out of the 4 performances, what would you rate each one out of 10? And who was the winner?
Well, recency bias, Oasis were the winner, and that's partly because it was just such a... It felt like just such a event, and they managed to stay together up to that concert. I mean, for anyone who's got tickets later in the tour, I hope they managed to keep it together up to that point. They didn't look like they really liked each other, to be honest. They didn't really interact at all. But they did manage to stay together, and so for that, I'm very grateful. And they were actually really good as well. I was kind of expecting. I've seen Liam live at a couple of festivals, and he's been, not great vocally. Whereas together, there's some magic there, so that was good. Out of 10, I mean, where is a 10 if it isn't an Oasis reunion concert? So I'm going 10.
Wow.
Stereophonics, I give a 9. That was also brilliant. And Blossoms 8, maybe Richard Ashcroft a 7. Only because Richard Ashcroft's his own stuff I didn't really know and hadn't bothered to kind of research beforehand, which I tend to try and get myself into it. But the playlist had been very much Oasis for the last 2 weeks after the Stereophonics. But yeah, if you haven't heard Blossoms live, I'd really recommend them. They're really fun as well. And they have a song called Gary, which is about an 8-foot tall fiberglass gorilla, which they wheeled on to stage, which was also very good fun. So music-wise, that was a big part of this month. After the Stereophonics gig, we went off on holiday to Wales for a week, which was very nice and relaxing. Went down an old pit, an old coal mine to sort of see how it was done, which was really good fun. And got us out of the rain because that was the one day it wasn't warm and sunny. Lots of food, far too much food, and hence why then following up with that massive pizza wasn't very wise. But I've tried to kind of detox since then. And just on the gaming front, which is related, that I took my ROG Ally to Wales and was playing some Clair Obscur on the ROG Ally plugged in, and it just kind of hit me while I was playing that was like the full game experience that I've been playing on my Xbox at home. Plugged in, you get more power basically. And it was on a small screen, but otherwise like for like experience with playing on the console. And with Xbox Play Anywhere, or cloud saves, I think it is, meant that I could just continue on my game, and then when we got home, just hop back across to the Xbox. So really showed actually how useful that is in a fairly limited use case, but also worth calling out on this show. In terms of what we've been watching, James, we're running fairly long. Have you seen anything particularly good? I guess maybe the football might be something that you've been watching.
I was only going to bother talking about the football, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, and I cut that down a lot as well by kept forgetting it was on and then only getting back for the last few minutes, which was really good, fortunately, because we're awful for the first 60 minutes of every game and then really good for the last 30 minutes. So there's lots of entertainment packed in the many bits of extra time and the 2 lots of penalties, and yeah, great resilience and good team spirit, and all seemed like really nice people who were there for great reasons, and lots to like from that lot. And a few of them have been there because I started watching women's football about 10 years ago when the Women's World Cup, where we finished 3rd. And then we went and met Frank Kirby afterwards at the next Reading game. And me and Scotty went down there with Joshua and had a bronze medal around Joshua's neck, and he looked completely disinterested. Got some nice photos out of it. And then I watched women's football for a couple of years after that and followed Reading around the country, watched them get promoted and lots of fun stuff. So that's when I got into women's football. And it's weird, it's been 10 years down the line now. And some of the players that played in that first World Cup are still playing now. So Alex Greenwood and Lucy Bronze, and some of that lot were still knocking about, which is great to see. And yeah, really enjoyed it. Nice to win some stuff. Quite rare to see England win some stuff whilst playing football, so always enjoyable. And yeah, the resilience and the team spirit and the never say die attitude is always something that inspires a little something in me. So it's really exciting, really enjoyed it. Glad it's another victory.
Yeah, same. I was thinking about that when I was watching, actually. I think you were, of our sort of friend group, you were probably sort of supporting women's football before the rest of us, and I was just really taken by how not a thing it was, in the sense of it was just a really good football tournament. Again, shouldn't be a surprise, but cast your mind back even a few tournaments ago, there were still a lot of teams that were playing amateur or sort of semi-professional. The standard needed a bit of work, but was, kind of obviously getting there. And in terms of the Euros that we just watched, there was some amazing football. I thought I stupidly didn't write down her name, but the French winger, she sounded a bit like Cappuccino. She was amazing. And France absolutely dominated us, I thought, in the first game. Similarly, some of the Spanish team in the final just looked an absolute class act. And I've got a bit of a thing for she wasn't very fit for quite a lot of the time. But Lauren James just has such a casual skill level. She's just like doing things and looking like she's really not trying, which I really enjoyed. So it was nice. Call out the Wales game because poor old Wales, they got a bit of a thrashing against us as the one team we really actually kind of had a relaxing game against. But we were in Wales at the time, so I have to admit I did also cheer the Wales goal because I thought that they deserved it, and they also it was a bit sad otherwise. So yeah, I really enjoyed it too. Can't believe that the season's not too far away. So that's been very welcome to everyone, probably apart from Hannah, who has also watched and enjoyed some of it with me, but I think could have done with the summer off. Oh, well. Sorry, Hannah.
Used to be a lot of Welsh players in the Reading team when I used to watch them. Like Charlie Ascott was there and Rachel Rowe and quite a few others, and we had lots of ex-Welsh internationals used to play for us. So back then, 10 years ago, you used to watch a game and then there wasn't many of you there supporting it, so you then went in with the players afterwards, sat in the players' area, they all went into the change rooms, came back out, you chatted with the parents and had a chat afterwards and shared a drink. And I used to write for the programmes and I used to manage a Facebook page for the football club. Bizarre, 10 years ago, now it's obviously a whole different level of stuff. Apart from Reading, who have been dropped down, ran out of money, went bankrupt and dropped down 4 divisions, so we're in like 5th tier now, so nowhere near anything. But there we go. But I like to say I was an early adopter for women's football, so yeah, it's nice to see us win again. And hopefully World Cup in 2 years' time in America. Fingers
crossed, exactly. Just a couple of quick other things that I've seen, because I'd highly recommend Daisy Jones and the Six, which is on Amazon Prime. Continuing the music theme, it's set in the 70s. It's got it's about a band getting together and then some trials and tribulations of all the band members and the band itself. Music's really good, story's great, and we've got 1 episode to go, and I genuinely can't wait to watch it. Annoyingly, I thought we might have finished it in time for recording, but we haven't. But up to the last episode, it's a great show, and it's quite cool. They do, as well as showing you the kind of period stuff, so what was happening back then in the 70s. They also have these like sort of mock documentary interviews with the band members in the present day, kind of looking back at what happened, cut in between the show. Really good. Amazon Prime, I think it's 10 episodes worth a watch. And then I saw Superman at the cinema, which I thought was really fun. But the one thing I wanted to call out was that on the soundtrack there was 5 Years' Time by Noah and the Whale, featuring Laura Marling, who you and I saw at her launch party by mistake, didn't we? At a pub in Reading.
I think we're always early adopters, Charles. Always pride myself in being an early adopter. But yeah, it was in Oakford Social by the station in Reading many years ago now, and she was just playing in the corner, wasn't she, with a couple of other people with long blonde hair, singing some good songs, and we met a couple of people we knew down there actually. But it was very good. I got into Laura Marling afterwards. I bought a couple of her records, and then she went off and did some cool stuff and appeared in some cool places. So fair play to her. Yeah. But that night, obviously, where we met her was where her career really took off. So I'm glad to think we're a big part of it.
I think if she were doing an acceptance speech now, she would no doubt mention those 2 old blokes who were randomly in the pub. Probably, I don't think it was like a limited entry, was it? You could just wander in. We didn't somehow accidentally walk past security and just go and sit in the corner.
I'm really not sure anymore. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Anything could have happened. We could have managed the place at the time. Who knows? God knows. But anyway, I'm sure she's listened to the podcast. So, Laura, congratulations on being in Superman.
Superman. Yeah, Superman. I don't think there'll be that 1 degree of separation from a massive superhero movie for either of us in the rest of our lives. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe there will be. Excellent. Everything you've been up to, James, should we get on to what we've been playing?
Yeah, I like the fact you said it's going to be a 45-minute episode and we're already a minute 30. We've talked nothing at all about games so far, so congratulations again to us. Well done.
It's a pat on the back for both of us, but we have both mentioned that we haven't had that much time for gaming, so you never know, we might still come in under. We're just this episode will just be called Aches, perhaps. Right, so for July, our SubClub games, so listeners, we pick a game, or in this month, actually 2 games, from a streaming service or from a game subscription service. So hopefully it's kind of zero cost for the chance for people to join in. We try and pick from PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass, and we try and mix it up a little bit. So this month, because in honour really of the Women's Euros, and also because we had to pick a game at quite short notice, we decided to do a sort of compare and contrast, which we'd done before back in the autumn last year of shooters. So this time we decided we'd pick 2 football games. So that was FC25 from EA, not FIFA. I've managed to say it right every time, mostly because it's sort of massive on my notes to remind me. And the newcomer, the up-and-coming youngster, is Rematch from Slow Clap, I think, the developers of Sifi. James, what are your thoughts on the compare and contrast between FC25 and Rematch?
First off, I was going to say, you almost got EAFC25 correct, so well done. And you also haven't mentioned the female Euros, so well done for that one as well.
I know, I've been practicing. You're proud of me.
Yeah, awesome. So, yeah, compare and contrast. Always like a good compare and contrast. We did it recently, didn't we? Look back at the episode between 2 other games, the Chaos Engine and Call of Duty Black Ops 6, probably.
Black Ops 6,
maybe?
Yeah.
Blimey, good memory there, if I'm out of my age. So, yeah, we thought we'd give it another go, and it's good fun, wasn't it? But it means we have to play quite a lot, because to get a good comparison, you have to really get in deep with both games. And they're both very different games. They're both based on the popular sport of football, which traditionally involves 11 people kicking the ball around and scoring goals. But in I nearly said FIFA. In EAFC 25, that is the case, but in Rematch is very much not the case. So in Rematch, you could compare it to games like Rocket League, because it's some characters loosely kicking something towards a goal, and it's very much online, isn't it? It's not something you really play amongst yourselves or against a computer. You have to play against some real people, which always puts me off generally, because I'm not a big fan of people traditionally. Most of them are Muppets, and I've got no time for them whatsoever. But this one wasn't too bad because you couldn't hear them. They generally just made inane comments. You get a selection wheel where you can make 4 comments, like good work, or we can do this, or some kind of inane comments like that, which is nice. And the idea is, like with all football matches, you score goals in the other net. But you can either do it 3-on-3, 4-on-4, or 5-on-5 in these online matches. And you start off with no rank at all, like you do in those kind of games. So you just get drawn against other newbies or some non-newbies, because they just throw it all in together. Anyone that picks a non-selected match is one. And you give it a go. There's a bit of tutorial at the start, which gives you the basics, but there are some more advanced trickery involved in some of the dribbling, which I never really mastered at all, but it's all in there in the tutorial. And then you just get randomly selected into a match with some other people, depending on whether you're going 3-on-3, 4-on-4, or 5-on-5. And you kick a ball in the direction of the goal, and you score some goals. And that's all there is to the game, really. It's not particularly complex. I miss the aim of the game. I like games whereby there's a campaign, or there's a season, or there's something that you work towards. A Rematch didn't really have that. There's sort of short, sharp bouts of football games. So it's good in that you just can get straight into it without having to learn too much. It's quite addictive in that you play a game for 5-10 minutes and then you think, oh, it's quite fun. Let's have another quick go to see if I can do a little bit better than last time when I was awful. And then you gradually move up rank by rank until you get to rank 5, which you then get matched against people of the similar rank to you, which makes the games a little bit more equal technically with other people playing. So good fun. Quite enjoyed it. Probably got a little bit bored after a few days of it. The initial excitement wore off, and I didn't see the longevity as much because, like I said, it was missing that campaign, or missing the season, or missing the league aspect. It was just playing lots of repetitive games against strangers, and whether you won or lose, it didn't really matter, because in 5 minutes' time you'd be doing it all over again against someone completely different, and you didn't really seem to achieve anything. So that bothered me with Rematch. I'll talk about FIFA in a minute. What was your views on Rematch first, G?
Yeah, I guess the the hook to keep going certainly in the competitive or the ranked game is to move up through the ranks. But I kind of agree with that. For me, that was enough. Whether it was moving up through the ranks in 5v5 or it was just the sort of the fun of one more game. I actually had to stop playing Rematch for a while because I thought it was so addictive that I had a few nights where I didn't really get enough sleep, and I put that down to the combination of my personality and Rematch being very good and very addictive. So that's my most positive review, really, that it was so good that I had to stop playing it for a while. Simple arcadey, very much reminded me of, you could imagine being in the arcades, putting some coins into that, playing it back in the day. I don't know. I started with FIFA, actually, sort of, I think FIFA maybe even 1990, but certainly remember playing 94, and then sort of moved over to Pro Evo and then kind of back to FIFA, which we'll talk about. But I didn't really play much of the arcadey type stuff. There was a football game on the Dreamcast that I played, which I really enjoyed, which was a bit more arcadey. But yeah, this really hit the spot for me, and I do have my issues with it. I think 4-on-4 for me was the sweet spot, which was annoying because then the ranked thing is only 5v5 at the moment. Yeah. Apparently they're looking at that. They just don't want to split up the player base. I did think it had a lot of potential and needs to sort of have some competitions and things built in, which I think they're working on. And the other thing that annoyed me, it really rewards the sort of show pony in the group, which does encourage the people to ball hog. And to me, anyway, as a boring defender in real life, or before I retired injured, it I think undervalues the sort of stoic hover back and kind of defend gallantly, zonal defend, and kind of keep the other team out. So I had a few games where I thought I played really well, but my score wasn't great, and that's largely because most of what I was doing was intercepting, which you do get some points for, but also kind of ushering people into sort of safer areas. So I'd really like them to look at kind of how you're rewarded. And I think if you look at other online multiplayer type games, say shooters in particular, you could take something from the kind of King of the Hill modes. So you could kind of say if you're playing as a defender, if you're staying in the right kind of areas and doing something useful, that you could build up points, stuff like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I've got to say I didn't go backwards and forwards between Rematch and FC25 because I found the controls were so different that I was confusing myself. So then, having moved over to FC25 to give it a proper try, I find myself looking forward to getting back to Rematch. So I will be playing again, and hopefully still getting some sleep. You mentioned
that's a very different viewpoint as well, isn't it? So
yes,
with Rematch, it's very much a first-person type thing. So the ball sort of comes towards you, and you can't always see the ball because it's over your head or it's to the side, and you have to rotate a lot to work out where the ball's gone. Very much like Rocket League, whereas obviously in EAFC25, it's very much a top-down perspective, so you can always see where the ball is. You can always see your player on the pitch somewhere. So a very different concept.
Yeah, I can't recall if you said specifically, but we should say if anyone hasn't played it or doesn't know what we're talking about, you control one player, so you're not changing between the team. Although a bit like playing five-a-side with some friends, every time someone scores a goal, it does sort of rotate round. So you play as, you might be the broadly defender at one point, although everyone just charges around most of the time. And then the next time you might be goalkeeper or the sort of furthest forward. And again, it probably won't last apart from goalkeeper. Although a few of the goalkeepers in my game just ran out onto the pitch. I don't know if you had that. That kind of annoyed me a bit.
Yeah. A couple of them in my game refused to not be goalkeeper. So even though they weren't goalkeeper, they kept standing in the goal.
Yeah.
I don't think they got the concept that when it rotated around, they weren't in the goal anymore. So yeah, sorry, very similar to five-a-side football with friends. It's a good analogy because it's good fun, but ultimately it doesn't really lead anywhere. It's just something you do every week. You do the same thing every week. It's still funny. You go back to it and don't really get anywhere, and you get old and then you get worse at it. So yeah, good fun. Don't have anything to say bad against it. Controls are obviously quite tricky because you have to very much aim in the right direction, and you have to very much get in the right place to get hold of the ball. It doesn't sort of find its way to your foot automatically, and there's no sort of passing sense of where it's going to go to. You've got to really work on it, which is nice. So it takes a bit of skill. But yeah, just a lack of a point to it annoyed me. If they built more into it, like you said, competitions and leagues or something that you can move up rather than just a ranking system. I don't really care about ranks. I just want to win some things. That would be better for me. That's a rematch.
Yeah,
but ultimately pointless.
Quite a contrast, though, to how FC25 plays, isn't it? And I'd had probably, I think, 3 or 4 years maybe since I last played FIFA. Yeah, it was definitely FIFA back then. I played it for a few years through Xbox Game Pass, EA Play, but it was very much kind of tailing off it before we picked it as one of our games. So it was really interesting to go back to. What did you think of FC25, James?
Yeah, very similar to FC24 and FIFA 23 and FIFA 22 and FIFA 21. Always seems to be exactly the same game every year, which is fine because I really enjoy the game. So I've played it every year where it's on Game Pass. I think it's the first game I bought second hand on the PlayStation 5 when I got the PlayStation 5 as well. But this time it was on Game Pass, so I went back to playing it on the Xbox. So slightly different experience from playing it on the PlayStation. Obviously, the controller's a lot worse on the Xbox, so that makes it a bit different. But it's still a good game. Very similar, like I said, to last year. If you were playing them side by side, I don't think I would notice a difference at all. Commentary largely the same. Goal celebrations are all pretty much the same. They're having a few more whizzy features when you score a goal from different angles. You have like a first-person perspective, which is very, very, very slightly different than it was last year. But the gameplay is identical. The controls are identical. It's just the same game, really, but it's really good. So I only ever play these days in player career mode. So similar to Rematch, you pick one player, you customize that person. For this year, for the first time, they've added in scenarios. You can either be a brand new, fresh-faced 18-year-old pro, which is obviously very similar to my natural personality style, or you can be a experienced pro returning from a long-term injury and trying to reignite your career, or you can be the son of a famous footballer who's got the weight of expectation on their shoulders and you have to prove yourself very quickly. So I went for the 18-year-old one because it's obviously most similar to my age and my personality style, and pick a team and then you just crack on with it. So you play in one position, you pick where you want to play. So I always play sort of like a number 9 up front somewhere, holding up the ball, cracking finishes. And then you play a full season, start with pre-season. You start off as a substitute. So if you're impressed during your substitute appearances, you gradually get up your manager's rating scale, and then finally you get to have a starting berth, unless you're awful, in which case you move back down the rankings and go back to being a substitute, or get loaned out if you're really awful. So yeah, very similar to last year. Good game. I've played most of the season, 41 out of 46 games of Reading, with 2 points off the top. Birmingham are in first place, 2 points in front of us, but we do have 2 games in hand, which is quite exciting. But I've just recovered from a life-threatening and 3-month toe injury, so that ruined my season. I was way ahead in the golden ranks. This year, I've played it differently. In the previous years, I played it on normal difficulty and found it far too easy, and that annoyed me in the end. So this year, I went for world class in the end. So on world class, it's a little bit more challenging, but still winnable in League One with Reading, which is a fairly good team. So yeah, really enjoying it. Nearly got promoted already. I like the difficulty level this season, now that I've picked the right one, and having a good time, apart from my toe injury, which is the first toe injury I've ever had in football. Well, apart from when I was 16, when I kicked someone by mistake. Kicked Jeff Hussey. I kicked in the foot playing football, and my toe went black, and then I couldn't play for months because it was painful. There we go. Brought back some awful memories. PTSD of toe injuries of the past. What did you do? Did you enjoy it, Gene? Didn't sound like you enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
I didn't enjoy it as much as you did, clearly, and that's of interest. I think we've got kind of different views on these two, which is always nice. We do tend to agree on quite a lot, so it's nice when we come at things at a different angle. Yeah, like I said, I played a lot of FIFA in the past and just got quite bored of it again because it was quite similar each time, and also I think Rematch really does highlight to me that it was. I felt like I was going through the motions a little bit with FIFA. It, again, possibly wasn't sort of stepping up to the harder difficulty. So I did play. It took a while to get back into it, first and foremost. Couldn't really remember my controls. Couldn't remember that I need to switch to alternate because that's the PES control, the Pro Evo controls, which I've grown up on since the early FIFA days, and I've always swapped back in the sort of recent FIFAs. So I hope we don't have to pay FIFA every time we say the word FIFA. I feel like they're that sort of organisation who would, be getting money out of us or, somehow giving it to Saudi Arabia or something. So hopefully they're not listening. For 2 reasons now, because I probably just slandered them. So I got back into it. I quite enjoyed it. Same game to me, much more complicated. I think that's sort of highlighted by the contrast between the two. Funnily enough, you said the game's quite similar each year. I think having had a few years away from it, it feels a lot more there's a lot more options, and it's much more complicated to just get into a game than it used to be to my recollection. So I was initially quite overwhelmed by all the different kind of modes and options. It felt very much like it was pushing me towards online. It was pushing me towards FIFA Ultimate Team, which can just do one. So I was just looking for the basic kind of kick-off, which was kind of fun, but became very familiar quite quickly. I used to love manager mode, so I used to play that and do the transfers and stuff, but that has become even more complicated than it used to be, from my, again, recollection anyway. So there was a lot of sort of training, and I found myself just clicking through buttons constantly between games. I did want to tinker, I did want to, bring some transfers in, but I didn't want to do drills during the week. I didn't want to, I didn't want to read about someone's social media or whatever kind of nonsense was going on. So it just felt a very busy game and very much took me away from the basic fun of wanting to play football. I then tried Be a Pro, which is now Player Career, I think you said, but it was, I think, Be a Pro back in my day. And just thought it would be an interesting like-for-like comparison, but found it quite hard to get a similar camera angle, but that was kind of fun. And then I played Rush for a bit. Which was, I think, Volta in the last couple, and was essentially kind of five-a-side-ish, and was the closest thing really to Rematch. It was very arcadey. It has sort of kind of brash commentary and, celebrations when you score and stuff, and it was very fast-paced. And I actually probably enjoyed that more than anything else. So again, maybe that was me hankering going back to Rematch, which I will no doubt do. But yeah, I think overall, what struck me, and I've heard it mentioned by someone else, I think they nailed it, that one of them feels like a sort of football simulation, and the other one to me feels like it is when I'm playing football. And when you were describing, trying to shoot and not necessarily getting it anywhere near the goal, very much how I would play. Missing sliding tackles everywhere and doing really stupid things. When I'm in goal, I've quite often done quite well in goal, which is not like real life for me. But I've also, I think, managed to run it into my own net once, or sort of drop it by the opponent's feet every now and again. Again, these are sort of, to me, funny and very realistic experiences of playing football. So, very different, but I like the chaos. And Rematch is chaos. So that was my choice.
Yeah, so both good games in different ways, both appeal to different parts of our personalities. I said whatever it's called. Yeah, FC25. It's another pound in the pot. With that career mode for me is what I look for in games. I like progressing, and I like looking back after the 6 hours and realising that you've got to a certain position in the league table because of the effort you've put into it. So that keeps me going, keeps me motivated. Whereas Rematch didn't have a thing to keep me motivated because it wasn't taking me somewhere. So that's a big difference between the two. Both good games in their own right. Both will obviously be going probably for the next 5 years, and EAFC29 will probably be very similar to EAFC25, and Rematch will hopefully get a bit more interesting and a bit more immersive in terms of options and bits and pieces. So there we go. Both good games, and I'm glad we gave them a go.
Yeah,
in line with the Women's Euros, where we were victorious.
Indeed. And if you have access to Game Pass, you can play both of them included in a subscription. If you want to play FC25, the cheap way to do it would be subscribing to EA Play, which you can get on PlayStation or on PC, so you could do it that way. I think FC26 comes out in September, maybe. If you need the latest and greatest, then that's going to be available to buy. I'm sure it'll be available on a sub at some point. The Rematch is on Game Pass. I suspect very much it'll be added to PS Plus at some point, because it's the sort of game that really needs players, and they can sell skins and whatnot. So I'd imagine it'll follow in the Rocket League model, I would have thought, start off being you can buy it on PlayStation, but I'm sure it'll go free to play in the future at some point. So recommend it. Cool. What else have you been playing, James? I think both of us have taken a lot of our time up with those two games and not done a huge amount else, but looks like we've also played another game the same this month.
Yeah, so we talked about it last month, didn't we, in length? Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I'm still really enjoying it. I'm not far into it, though, because I spent so much time playing FIFA. EA FC25. It's annoying every year when I get into the FC game because it then takes over my life for a few months until I get all the way into the Premier League, win the Premier League, win the World Cup of England, then I get bored of it and give up. So until I get to that stage, it kind of takes over my life for a couple of months, which was a bit risky. And it's game of the month. There we go. Claire Obscure, back to that one. We were talking about French games last month, and this is very much a French game with lots of Frenchy stuff in it, and French characters, and a French vibe to it. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm only about 3.5, 4, lost count, hours into it, so I've not got far on it. But still really enjoying the storyline, still really like the characters. There's 3 main characters at the moment. Maybe there's more later on, who knows? But they're likeable and interesting and different in a nice way. And they do lots of things, and they have their individual skills and powers and abilities, which is nice. The turn-based combat is fine, still enjoying that one. Tiny bit repetitive after a while with the turn-based combat, but as you get more powers, you can do different things, so that keeps it fresh and interesting. There's different kinds of baddies as you go along, which is cool. A few puzzles in it, not that many so far, but the few puzzles that have been in have been fine. And yeah, I just really like the atmosphere, like the storyline, like the characters, like the voice acting. Graphics are excellent. So yeah, just really enjoying the game. I know you finished it and weren't quite as game of the year-y as some people, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to underplay. I think it's probably an 8 for me, having finished it. So that's sort of great on an IGN type scale. But I don't feel it was game of the year. Although I think part of that was possibly a me problem. So yeah, I would imagine from what you described, you're past the prologue, aren't you? I remember us talking about that. You've sort of left Lumiere, but and had that thing happen. But yeah,
I've only just completed the thingy with the what's it in the jobby.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I know exactly what you. No idea what you're talking about. But
there's a little hut with some kind of beastie thing that's quite pleasant in it, where you find Mael for the first time.
Okay. Really? Do you mean Mael? Okay. Right. I still
the ginger one, the ginger 16-year-old.
Right. Isn't she? Isn't she with you at the start? Have I imagined that? I think you find
Lionesses with you at the start. She with the dark hair and bare feet. And then you find Mael in the thingy in the mansion, the manor.
Do you?
There's a table. Yes.
How bad is my memory? oh no, hang on. You start. Okay, right, got you. You start off with her. She was in the prologue.
Yes,
and you've lost her, and then you find her. I understand now.
Yeah, everyone dies, and then
Yeah, spoiler warning. Yes, I really enjoyed it. I have completed it and completed it recently. So for me, that was kind of my big game. I mentioned that I took it with me on the Rock Allies on holiday. Played it on the Series X. Really enjoyed it. For me, everything you said, the characters, the story, the music, I thought was really good. There's some awesome music, especially as you kind of get later on. Some of the sort of battle music, or it's very sort of sweeping and epic and very melodramatic. Apparently you can listen to the soundtrack on Spotify, and I might well do that. That feels like good sort of studying music or working music if I'm doing a project or something. Quite sad, lots of loss going on. You'll have seen some, there's more to come. And then I played the first act, so after the prologue there's then a number of acts. I played the whole of the first act on standard mode, and like you said, I was finding it just a bit grindy, I suppose, in terms of repetitive. So some of the fights, particularly at the end of Act 1, really long fights, and I kind of thought, okay, I'm sort of enjoying this up to a point. I'm enjoying the sense of achievement when I actually do get past someone, but I'm also feel like I'll never complete this game if I leave it on this difficulty. So I decided to drop down to easy from then on. And I think that's possibly why it didn't then maintain the sort of game of the year type level experience. So if you do have the time, even if you play it over a long period, I think I'd probably recommend keeping it on a bit of a challenge. I feel there needs to be a difficulty level between those two. Would have been perfect for me. Bit more forgiving with the parries and the dodges, but still taking a lot of damage from enemies, because when you drop it down to really easy, it's just, to me, then just became, I was blitzing through the game, still not quickly because there's a lot of it, quite a lot of it, but I just lost that sense of jeopardy. So I was then varying my tactics a bit less. I was having to work a bit less hard. Apart from one particular battle where you need a very specific sort of skill equipped, otherwise you'll die straight away. And to me, that's just bad design, because you kind of you've got all these choices of what you can do, and I think you should be able to tackle things in different ways. So apart from that, the battle system I thought was really good. When I had it on a bit of a challenge, it was really fun, but was taking too long. Dropped it to easy, and then kind of almost in a FIFA way, just kind of felt like I was going through the motions a little bit. So I kind of wish that I had kept it on the harder difficulty and just taken my time. And I'd recommend, if anyone's listening, that they might want to do the same, particularly because I actually realised right at the end that I hadn't been using a whole part of the kind of arsenal. So, James, just in case you are not doing this as well, I'd highly recommend going and looking. You've got these things called pictos, which are kind of your skills. And you've also got a thing called Lumina. And as you sort of build up Lumina, you can use them. But I didn't realise that you can set them to active, or by default they will be inactive. So I had this huge collection of Lumina skills and hadn't activated them, and you can only activate them up to you've essentially got a budget which you can earn more points towards spending. But yeah, about 3 battles from the end I realised I had like 50 points for each of the characters to spend, and once I put those through, then I actually thought maybe this is why I was struggling on normal. So highly recommend it. But yeah, really good game. Very French, very dramatic, very emotional, and made by a small team. So it's a good story. Its development is a good story, as well as the game having one.
How long did it take you in the end?
Well, according to the lying statistics, it took me 25 hours. But I think that, which, to a non-gamer, that's very long. To, I think, our average, that's kind of a long game. That's a Last of Us 2 as opposed to a Last of Us, isn't it? Probably as long as I'd want to spend on a single game, because there's just so much good stuff out there. Although Red Dead 2, I think, still has the record for me at about 70 hours. But I think that does not take account of some of the battles that I played over and over and kept dying at the start. So I think it's probably closer to 30. But I think officially mid-20s is about standard. So do you think you'll keep playing?
I think 25 hours is the amount of time it took after The Last of Us 2 should have finished.
Yeah, that was just it's like the Lord of the Rings finish sort of endings took about 25 hours from what I remember. I shouldn't say that because I tried to get Hannah to watch them, and it's very good, very short films.
Yeah, very short. Very succinct.
Yeah.
Yes, I will finish it.
You will? Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll take your time. Enjoy. And
thank you.
I'll look forward to hearing about it sometime next summer.
Yeah. No, I'm enjoying it though. I played it the night before last. I got back into it because I've been playing all the football stuff until then. So I thought I better give it a go before the podcast. Otherwise, I look a bit dumb that Giles finished it and I haven't. So there we go.
It's not a competition.
Next game.
Yeah.
Only team I've played. I've very quickly mentioned Let's Build a Zoo again because I mentioned that last month at length. Still good fun. Still very quick to get into. You build a zoo, as the name would suggest, but it's very much low quality 80s, 90s graphics, sort of voxel art type stuff. Looks bang average, but really, really enjoyable. You can make it as complicated as you want to, but effectively you build lots of enclosures, you put lots of animals in it from around the world, complete lots of challenges, get as many people in as you can, sort out the transport systems, make lots of shops, and do everything you would do in a normal tycoon type game. But it's just very simplistic looking, and you can play it quite simply without any effort. So a really good game. I've played a lot of hours on that one. Not as many this month because I've been doing other things, but still good fun. I still recommend it. And with Planet Zoo coming out soon on a subscription service, probably the PlayStation one, I think, maybe. Yeah. We could compare and contrast that one as well, being I've played both. And Planet Zoo is very much more complicated. Looks gorgeous, but Let's Build a Zoo is probably a bit more fun and looks like a potato, but very playable. And only one more game for me. Any more for you, Giles?
Yeah, I just wanted to harken back to last episode that I got confused because I thought it was also the title of a film, but that was We Bought a Zoo, apparently, starring Matt Damon and Scarlett Johansson. Your favourite, Scarlett Johansson, so everyone's favourite.
Everyone's favourite.
So yes, Let's Build a Zoo sounded fun. It had like baboon birds or something, some random animals.
Yeah,
in it
you can do hybrids. You can combine ducks and snakes to make a snuck.
Yes, what more can you want? I also only have very brief references otherwise. I dabbled a bit again in VR, so got the MetaQuest out, and I've been playing a great game called Expect You to Die. I say great game, a great titled game, which is a sort of spy simulator, kind of James Bondy, hence a great title. And it's kind of like a first-person VR escape room, really. You are trapped in various nefarious... Oh, that sounded cool. Nefarious schemes by baddies and need to sort of make your way out, or you are trying to infiltrate their lair and sort of find, steal an important piece of evidence or something. So you're just kind of going around doing the usual VR-y type things, interacting with stuff, trying to solve effectively little mini puzzles. Yeah. The first area, you're in a car, which you are trying to sort of drive out of a plane that you're being kidnapped in, which is very cool. And then and that's really good fun. And then the second one, I think, second scenario was a kind of a lab. And you get to play around with making different potions and stuff with different combinations, and you have to find recipes and things. So it's really quite involved. Enjoyed it a lot. The only thing is, I think it started strongest and potentially is getting a bit weaker in the different scenarios, which is a bit of a shame. And I'm wondering if part of that is just the novelty, because it's really fun to kind of interact with these very tangible things, although you can't touch them because it's obviously not real. Whereas I think maybe the novelty just wears off with the different scenarios. So that's been really good fun. And yes, I've got one more, but so have you, James. So you go next.
Yeah, I did actually. I forgot to play a bit more of Precinct, but we talked about that last month. That was that police game, which is quite good fun. Nice. Still no problems with that one. Still not overly complex, but good for a good half an hour here and there. And the other game I put a bit of time into was a game called Crime Scene Cleaner, which is a game I talked about on the Veteran Gamers podcast and got me interested because it sounded quite fun. It's kind of a combination between like Power Wash Simulator and House Flipper, but with some crime elements built in. So you start off by answering the phone to I think it's your brother, or a friend. I think it's your brother. Yeah, brother. Let's go with that. And he rings up saying that something's gone a bit awry at a place he visited, and he turned up there and he found a dead body and there's some crimes that have happened, which he was kind of involved in, but he wasn't involved in the actual killing part. So he asks you, because your job's a janitor in real life, so he gives you a bell, being that you're good at cleaning stuff. He says, come on over to this flat and please try and sort it out to get rid of all the evidence. So you turn up at his flat, it's your first mission, and yeah, some bad things have happened. There's blood everywhere, there's dead body knocking about, there's lots of trash, everything's been knocked over and all over the place. So in a house flipper style, you have to pick up all the furniture, clean up all the mess off the floor. But to make it a bit more crimey, obviously you have to clean up the blood as well, using slightly different tools and techniques as well. You have to collect some evidence as well, which makes it a bit different than House Flipper and Power Wash Simulator, to try and eliminate any suspicion that the police might get by removing all the evidence. Very clever. And then you sort of open a loft hatch, and then a couple more bodies fall out the loft hatch, and you go up there, and there's some kind of satanic crime scene. And you're like, blimey, there's a lot going on there. And you clean up the whole thing, and each mission is quite long, so each one lasts at least an hour to get the full cleaning element. And like with Power Wash Simulator or House Flipper 2 with the cleaning part, it shows you what percentage you've got to with the amount of blood you've cleaned up, the amount of bits of evidence you found, the amount of trash that you've cleaned up, and the amount of bits of furniture you've put back in the right place. And the aim is to get to 100% in all of them. But the big aim is to get rid of the bodies and to hide all the evidence and get rid of all the blood. And amusingly, when you find a body, you clean up around it, and then you stick it over your shoulder and carry it back to your vehicle. And then amusingly, you sort of press RB a long time and you chuck the body into the back of your vehicle, and then as it hits the deck, it appears in a body bag and nicely laid out in the back of your truck, which I thought was quite a nice touch. And the same with the rubbish sacks as well. You chuck them in the back of your truck, and they appear in a nice ordered row with all the dead bodies knocking about as well. Fascinating game. So me and Sarah played the next mission, which is at some kind of spa, and you have to drain the pool and clear all the blood out from the bottom of the pool and all the broken glass and the dead bodies. And in that one, you get to use an actual power wash, like you do in Power Wash Simulator, because the blood is splattered so high onto the ceiling and the top of the walls that you can't reach it using your normal mop and sponge. So you're jet washing the ceiling to get all the blood off. It's a bizarre game. So it's kind of normal, but then there's the occasional dead body knocking around and lots of blood splatter on the ceiling, which makes it a bit different than your average childish Power Wash Simulator type game. It's a good fun. Like I said, each mission takes quite a long time, so you feel a good sense of achievement after you completed each one. But you couldn't do more than one in an evening because you can only see so many dead bodies and clean up so much gore and mess before the world feels like a darker place than it already is.
Yeah, is it cartoony, James? It sounds a bit dark otherwise.
Is it cartoony? No.
Okay, right. So this is realistic stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dead body looks like a dead body.
Okay.
You got the knife holes and the bullet wounds, and you got the blood smeared across the crime scene. You got the satanic person tied up at the ceiling.
Okay.
It's not massively realistic. You wouldn't think you're in a real life crime scene, but it's
okay. Somewhere in between.
It's not cartoon style. It's accurate to the point of a place with not a massive graphical budget.
Nice. Okay, so maybe not fun for all the family, but also not the nightmare fuel that I'm picturing with sort of photorealistic crime scenes that you work.
No.
Okay, right. That makes more sense.
I was going to say I put some screenshots on the website. We're not sure if they're allowed or not. Who knows?
I don't know.
I'll look into that at some stage. But it's definitely the type of game that it's on Josh's Xbox 90 because that's where it's free. But I'm just hoping he doesn't go into it and think, oh, this looks quite fun. Let's clean up a crime scene. And I'm like, Jesus, what's going on here? That's my dad getting into it at midnight on his own, cleaning up dead bodies in a crime scene.
He'll be calling it Esther Anson.
Yeah, but a good game. Very as enjoyable as a game that involves cleaning and dead bodies can be.
Yeah, it did sound like when you said House Flipper meets Power Wash Simulator, I was like, this is James's wheelhouse right here. Well, my one just to honour the name of the show, really, and the last game that I played this month was Home Sports VR. So there was another moment of wheeling out the MetaQuest, because this is essentially Wii Sports but in VR.
Hey.
Or I think Switch had a version, didn't it, as well, that I think you did. Played when we went through our Nintendo memories, which is available on our podcast feed, so please do check that one out, listeners. It's good times. We have to have one shameless plug for a previous episode at least. But yeah, it was in the sort of subscription that I got a year of when I got the headset, and it's leaving very soon. It gave me a notification, so it will have left by the time this episode goes up, I believe. So I thought I'd give it a go because I was really curious if it would sort of rekindle the Wii Sports fun. So there's bowling, which is sort of mandatory. There's paddleball, pickleball variant. There's a badminton, which is essentially the same thing but with more risk of you hitting the light shade because you're then going over your head. And there's a couple of other different sports as well, but that really speaks to the problem of this for me, which is you actually need quite a big play space. So something like I Expect You to Die or a number of the games that I've played, you could play seated or stood, but within a fairly small area. This requires quite a big area. And it turns out that I hadn't provided a big enough area because when I was bowling, my follow through in my otherwise perfect bowling action saw my hand go straight into the coffee table. So I really, really clattered my hand on the coffee table. Now, bearing in mind, quite a lot of my gaming is late at night when Hannah's gone to bed. This is not ideal for a number of reasons. So not only have I made a lot of noise by whacking the coffee table, it also hurt like something or other. And yet I was trying my best not not to shout out in pain. So it's fine. My hand's fine. Don't worry, everybody. Thank you for the concerned emails and messages to Charles West. I'm okay, as is the coffee table. But this I wasn't having a great time anyway. It's a social experience, which is kind of in contrast to putting on a big headset and wearing it by yourself. So I can imagine if you've got multiple headsets in a family, or probably more likely you're playing online with friends, this could be quite fun. But it just felt a bit sad to be playing at home. And then when I twisted my hand on the table, I decided that was probably the time to stop. So yes, that was my last gaming experience of the month.
Yeah, you don't want a noisy, painful follow-through when there's people trying to sleep around you.
Apparently not. No, apparently not. And we'll move on from there because how can you top that, listeners? Awesome. Well, as you said, we had a packed show. We've ended up talking a great deal. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, listeners. We've been up to quite a lot. Let us know what you're playing, and especially with the SubClub. We highly encourage, if you've got access to the subscription, play along, message us as you go, or send us some thoughts and we'll feature them in the show. Because this month's SubClub choice for August is going to be Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is on PlayStation Plus, Extra or Premium, or it's on Ubisoft Plus if you don't have PlayStation or just don't subscribe. So you can subscribe to Ubisoft. You can play that on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, or Switch. You can buy it as well. And it's a fairly recent game, 2024 action-adventure from Ubisoft, part of the Prince of Persia series. But this one is a 2.5D side-scrolling version. So not like the originals, very much two-dimensionals, not like the Sands of Time trilogy, very much 3D, but got really well reviewed. It didn't sell so well, and I'm really looking forward to this. Any sort of fondness for the Prince of Persia series, James?
Yes, but only a long time ago. Back in the early days, I used to enjoy playing Prince of Persia. But I've not played any of the recent ones, so I probably haven't played a Prince of Persia game for 15 years, probably. So when it was one of the suggested options, it sounded like something that I'd like to get back into. It's always good fun, wasn't it? It's always quite active and energetic and generally fairly light-hearted and good crack. So yeah, well up for it. And hopefully other people play along and have a good time too. Yeah,
please do, and let us know what you think. It's I think how long to beat is around 16 hours, so we tried to pick a sort of achievable one. But remember, with the SubClub, the whole idea is you just play enough of it to get a sense of the game, and whether you're going to keep playing it is that's the point, really. That's one of the things that we'll no doubt discuss. But yeah, we say sort of 4-ish hours of the game, and hence why it's worth doing it through the subscription, because you might choose not to carry on. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm also very glad it's our choice for this month. And we wanted to find something for the rest of the summer that was still a bit sort of light and colourful before we inevitably go back to our sort of scenes of murder and sort of grey shooters for the winter. Awesome.
Yeah, I think a mix of crime scene cleaner and Prince of Persia is a perfect combo, I think.
That's a pretty good combo, but you have already said you're basically going to be playing FC25 for next month as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, we said we'd bring you the news. There wasn't much has happened this month. So the only thing of note that we wanted to mention was Helldivers 2, a PlayStation published game. It's technically developed by a third-party company, or a second party, I think it's described as, because it's not an in-house studio. But this is pretty much the first time we've seen a lot of Xbox games go to PlayStation. But this is kind of the first time we've seen a PlayStation game, apart from MLB The Show, which is a bit special, come to Xbox. So if you're an Xbox player, it won't be in the subscription. But if this is your sort of thing, now's the chance to show that you want more of them. And Sony appears to be hiring someone who looks like the role is designed to bring games to other platforms. So maybe this is the complete breakdown of console exclusives, James. I know you're more of a PlayStation player anyway, but it's a good thing, isn't it? More people get to play.
Yeah, that's why not. there's been some good exclusives on the PlayStation over the years and some good exclusives on the Xbox. So if you can play both, great. Obviously, like I've mentioned in previous episodes, please do check that. Some great ones out there. We've got an Xbox and a PlayStation and a Switch and a PC in our family, all in the same room within half a metre of each other. So it's not a great incentive for me to get excited about that because I can play them all anyway. But for some people, it's perfect, isn't it? Because you can get them all on one little square box.
Yeah, it's an increasingly expensive hobby, isn't it? So, especially as we sort of look forward to, no doubt, another generation and more expensive hardware, I think it's pretty... the people who've got multiple versions of, multiple different systems are probably going to get fewer and fewer. So that is good stuff. And it's a fairly quiet month. I mean, lots of holidays, people are out and about. So the sort of different companies don't seem to be releasing anything particularly big or adding anything particularly big. But there's a few things we mentioned. James, you had a PS Plus Day 1 game that looks quite fun.
Yeah, what we think it is anyway. It's not been officially announced yet because obviously they don't announce the games for next month's PlayStation Plus stuff until roughly the Wednesday or the last Wednesday of the month. And today is what day is it, Monday? No idea what day it is today. Monday. Let's say it's Monday today. So in 2 days' time, they'll probably announce it officially. But last month, they half announced that this is going to be a Day 1 PS Plus release. It's called Sword of the Sea, and I think we briefly talked about it last time. If you can't remember, check back. It's a really interesting show last month. All good. This one is by the people who made that game, Abzu, which was like a weird diving game. So you found yourself splattered in the ocean, and then you went diving and went through lots of seascapes and brought things back to life that had been taken over by darkness and brought life back into them, brought fish species back to life and all kinds of fun stuff. And there's dolphins, it's quite cool. Weirdly, it used to be a game I used to test on my PlayStations on because for a fairly basic game, it was incredibly noisy for fans. Obviously, there's some 4K graphics in there, and it used to really smash the PlayStation to death if your PlayStation was in a bad way. So within the first 20 seconds of the game loading up, it was like either your PlayStation would slowly take off and disappear out the window, or it would be fine, and then you'd know if your PlayStation was knackered or not. So I've played Abzu, the start of it, the first 20 minutes, literally 100 times with consoles over the years. So it's a nice game, and this one is quite similar by the same developers, but this one is a surfing adventure type adventure thing. So you'll be on a surfboard doing very similar things that you did there, probably bringing species back to life and banishing darkness from the world, I guess. So it sounds fun. It looks quite nice. Coming out on August the 19th. Whether it's going to be free or not has not been announced yet, but it's meant to be, so hopefully it will be. And it's a kind of game that probably should be free because it probably showcases the graphical capabilities of PS5 very nicely and probably didn't cost a massive amount of money to make. So in order to get players in, it's probably the kind of best way to do it. So yeah, something to look forward to there and something I will probably give a go. And maybe even one day I'll start testing PlayStation 6s using Seas or Seas, whatever it's called, Sword of the Sea. Yes. Good.
I forgot just how loud the PlayStation 4 was when it was filled with gunk. It was quite like a jet engine, wasn't it? So taking me back as well. And they also released Journey, and those two I think have both at some point been PlayStation Plus games. So it does make sense they've got the relationship. Also, so Cyberpunk is now on PlayStation Plus, which is a pretty amazing get, really, celebrating the 15 years of PlayStation Plus. That's a huge game. That's been on my backlog. I've got it here in physical form next to me, yet to be played. So that's more money that I shouldn't have bothered spending. But it was in the sale, which is my usual excuse for wasting money. And a couple of Xbox games that are being remastered or kind of repackaged or upgraded in August. Gears of War Reloaded and Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 Enhanced, both coming for the first time to PlayStation 5. So we talked about the death of exclusives. So if you're on PlayStation and you've been waiting to play those two, I would highly recommend both those. They're really good. And if you're on Xbox, then you get the enhanced versions through Game Pass. So both of interest in an otherwise quiet month.
The only thing I've got to decide, because the original Hellblade I played on the PC in the end because I thought it'd look a bit nicer. Now I've got to decide whether to play the second one on the PC or on the enhanced version on the Xbox, which is going to be nicer. Will it be identical? Only time will tell.
Yeah, it's going to come down to which one's free and available, isn't it? Surely.
They both are, aren't they? They're both on Game Pass.
Oh,
enhanced versions.
I meant which machine, because surely if... do you play after Josh has gone to bed? But...
Yeah, we only got one TV screen to put them all on, so we only ever use one at a time. So tricky. I don't know if the graphics are going to be better on the PC because of the better graphics card, or whether it'll be better optimised on the Xbox. Who knows? So there we go. Bit of excitement there. And also, we mentioned that we coming up on the PlayStation Plus is Planet Zoo and Tropico 6, both of which are very good games, both of which I've got already, so not wildly exciting to be on the subscription services, but both really good games if you've not played them before. Give them a good old time. Very good games. Just going back to Cyberpunk, I've got it on PlayStation 4, but I've never had it on PlayStation 5. And I think you can pay £10 to get the upgrade, but I don't think I ever did. So I've never actually played the game at all. It's just sitting there waiting.
Well, it might be better than that, because I think, certainly on Xbox, there's a free upgrade to the current gen version. And usually, although PlayStation kind of, for first-party games, get you to pay to the upgrade, I think Cyberpunk might be one of the few games where it's the same version on PS4 and PS5, and you just get the upgrade. So hopefully you can just get the kind of current version for free, which would be nice.
But it's on subscription anyway, so they're in there.
There you go, exactly. And while it's there, although you have to get to it, and it's quite long, and there's FC25 to play, so we'll see.
Just quickly nipping back to fan noise, fascinating story. Josh's fan was getting really noisy on his Xbox, because we've had it a while now, and obviously with all the building work going over the last year and a half, there's been a lot of dust about. And it kept, when he was playing Minecraft, they released an update for Minecraft, and since then, it kept overheating and turned itself off. Getting really quite stressful, not being able to play Minecraft. Nightmare. So I took it all apart, as is my ilk, and cleaned it all out, and now it's literally silent.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've never done it that perfectly before, where I've cleaned something out and it's come back perfect. But this one, 2 screws in the back, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, quick scrape, bit of a blow, job done. Now it really is lovely. It doesn't shut down anymore. Perfectly silent. Delighted with myself.
That's quite a flex, James. I was going to say you're a wizard when it comes to these sorts of things. I just kind of look at it a bit shiftily and hope that it doesn't cark it, which back in the day some of my Xboxes did, but that's another story for another time. Very impressive. Right, well, that's the show. Please remember to like and subscribe to the podcast. Consider giving us a 5-star review. That really helps us push us up the searches. We have had a little uptick in viewer and listenership, so we appreciate that. And please do tell others if you enjoy this show. Why not come over and interact with us on our socials? That also helps us kind of get in front of eyeballs at Aches and Games on our Facebook page, or by emailing achesandgamespod@gmail.com. I'm Giles Nicholson. I'm Giles Wentwest on most things. And how about you, James?
Yeah, just a quick shout out to my ex-work colleague, Ed, who has started listening to the show from the start. He's going through all the episodes, so hello, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
He recommended a game involving, it's like a golf adventure game. It was only like a £5 on Switch, so I've not got around to it yet because of all the football, but I shall give that a go this month. So Ed, if you've listened this far, hopefully it meant you've enjoyed some of the shows. If you don't hear this message, obviously you didn't enjoy them that much, and therefore, screw you. But hopefully you did, so welcome, and I hope you're enjoying it. So that's it from me. Yes, James Boy 78 on PlayStation Network, like I mentioned. Please do keep an eye on the website, because I will one day upload it out for review, which I've promised now for the last 3 months. So close to being finished. It's incredible. It's going to be great. It really is. It might be the longest review ever, so we shall see. And yeah, keep an eye on TikTok. Hopefully Giles will edit lots more videos this month, and we can put lots of previews up there, and that'd be really good fun. So please do get involved. We'd love to hear from you, as Giles always says, but not too much. So don't come to our house and start chatting, because that'd be really annoying. So have a lovely month, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, first Friday of the month for more Aches and Games. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.